Dems just passed massive ban effective immediately, all must be removed or be fined $1,000 per day. And it's here folks. What the Socialist and Communist Fascist left has been working towards is finally happening. On Monday night the Fascist leaders in the village of Deerfield, Illinois voted unanimously to ban semi-automatic rifles, along with some pistols and even shotguns with certain features, as well as with magazines that hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. And now gun owners in that city have just over 2 months to remove those kinds of firearms from their homes or become felons as of June of this year. One change from the law as it was originally discussed exempts retired police officers from the ban. But violations carry a steep fine of between $250 and $1,000 per day, according to Matthew Rose, the village attorney. He said the fine is levied each day until there is compliance. Sadly, there isn't much pushback in this village, so there probably won't be much of any kind of any lawsuits against the ordinance unless the NRA wants to get involved, which is doubtful considering they already have enough on their plate thanks to the left coercing the Parkland shooting students into being mouthpieces for them. Folk, this is what happens when the government is out of control. The vote in Deerfield was unanimous. Even though the area is practically crime-free, this will now be an advertisement to most criminals that they can go into that city to commit crimes and there won't be much of a pushback. But it will be very interesting to see exactly how this ordinance affects crime in the area. This is the left's plan. They disarm law-abiding citizens, then they take our First Amendment rights away. And since we can't defend ourselves, there isn't much we will be able to do but sit back and watch. Like people in the UK are doing now as they are being put in jail for attacking Islam on social media. Here is more information on this ban via the Chicago Tribune. Owners of assault weapons living in North Suburban Deerfield have until June 13 to remove the firearms from within village limits or face daily fines after a ban was approved Monday night. The Village Board of Trustees unanimously approved a ban on certain types of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, amending a 2013 ordinance that regulated the storage of those items. The new ordinance prohibits the possession, sale and manufacturing of certain types of assault weapons and large-capacity magazines within the village, according to the ordinance. One change from the law as it was originally discussed exempts retired police officers from the ban, according to village manager Kent Street. Violations carry a fine of between $250 and $1,000 per day, according to Matthew Rose, the village attorney. He said the fine is levied each day until there is compliance. Street said the new law is modeled after one approved by Highland Park in 2013. That ban survived a legal challenge by one of the city's residents and the Illinois State Rifle Association. The 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals held that legislation constitutional and the U.S. Supreme Court let the decision stand when it declined to take up the appeal. Unlike Highland Park, Deerfield opted not to enact a total ban on assault weapons during a 10-day window that Illinois lawmakers gave home rule municipalities in 2013 before the state's new Firearm Concealed Carry Act eliminated their ability to do so. However, Deerfield trustees did enact an ordinance defining assault weapons and requiring the safe storage and safe transportation of those weapons within the village. That measure, which was enacted during the permitted time frame, preserved Deerfield's right to amend the ordinance in the future, Street previously said. This is not only held constitutional by the 7th Circuit, but similar laws have been ruled constitutional in California, the District of Columbia and Maryland, Rose said last month. The original resolution said that since Deerfield enacted its regulations, assault weapons have been increasingly used in an alarming number of notorious mass shooting incidents at public schools, public venues, places of worship and places of public accommodation. Document, Deerfield Assault Weapon Ordinance. In the ordinance, the definition of an assault weapon includes, among others, semi-automatic rifles that have a fixed magazine with a capacity to accept more than 10 rounds of ammunition, shotguns with a revolving cylinder, and semi-automatic pistols and rifles that can accept large-capacity magazines and possess one of a list of other features. Among the dozens of specific models cited are the AR-15, AK-47 and Uzi, according to the ordinance. The rationale mentions 4 recent shooting incidents that have claimed a total of 150 lives, the shootings at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School that left 17 dead, a massacre at the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas that killed 26 people, the Las Vegas Music Festival shooting that left 58 dead, and the Pulse nightclub mass shooting in Orlando, Florida that killed 49 people. Though the trustees had virtually no debate Monday night, more than 70 people attended the meeting. Of the 20 people who spoke, 14 were opposed to the ordinance and 6 supported it. 8 of 14 people who expressed opposition to the ban said they lived outside Deerfield. Opponents of the ban like Larry Nordell of Deerfield cited their rights under the Second Amendment and expressed fear that more restrictive laws would be passed in the future. The ordinance to store firearms was only passed for one reason, Nordell said. That was to have an mandatory vehicle that could be used in the future for just this purpose, so you could banish assorted firearms in the future. First it has going to be assault rifles. There will be new bans in the future. It's just a matter of time. Ariella Karask, a Deerfield High School senior who favors the legislation, said she wants more action both on a local and national level. This is our fight, Karask said. This is our generation's fight. We're going to keep fighting, and this is part of it. Change happens gradually, step by step. The fight does not end at the borders of our village. Joel Siegel of Lincolnwood said governments in other countries have banned weapons and then proceeded to use weapons against defenseless citizens. He urged civil disobedience as a way to stay safe. There's an ancient and honored American tradition called disobeying an unjust law, Siegel said. I have urged people to listen to their conscience, and if so moved, do not obey this law. Mike Weissman, a Glen Ellen resident and a board member of the Illinois State Rifle Association, said Deerfield should be prepared for a lawsuit like the one filed against neighboring Highland Park. That city received assistance with its legal defense from gun violence prevention organizations, according to Street. While the trustees did not discuss the reasons for supporting the ordinance at this meeting, Trustee Barbara Struthers said she knew of people who were opposed but chose not to come and speak because it would subject them to ridicule in the community. She wants none of that. I am going to vote for the ordinance, but people who disagree with the gun owners should not be beating them over the head just because they disagree, Struthers said. Deerfield Mayor Harriet Rosenthal has previously stated that she decided to take up the ban after the February 14 school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Enough is enough, Rosenthal said when the ban was first discussed. Those students are so articulate, just like our students. There is no place here for assault weapons.